Hey, Daniel, thank you
Hey,
for taking the time today. How's it going, man?
good man.
I just wanted to kind of have a conversation with you. As I said before going live, we're going to be starting a new series, which is basically titled Meet the Students or a Student Spotlight. And it's just going to be a chance where students can come out and basically get their story out, right? For example, where did you find us? What's your
Right.
background? What's your investing like? And basically, yeah, kind of share your side of things because I know you're very active in the Discord and you're a very active community member, and a lot of the students will know you, but they don't necessarily get to put the face to the name, you
Right.
know? So yeah, that's exactly what this is. And yeah, I want to really thank you for taking the time. But yeah, why don't you start with that? Like, how did you come across us? What's your story, Daniel?
Okay. So like when I did all the rookie mistakes when I first tried to invest, which was years ago when I was working on drilling rigs. So like 4 years ago.
Okay.
So I did everything that you're not supposed to do. I had $2,000 to start. And then it was like on YouTube, someone was like, oh, this great stock. You got to get into it. It was like a whole presentation of why this company's awesome. It was about, and then I just put all my $2,000 in it. And then 2 months later, it turns out that company lied about their profits. And then, but
Probably a really small penny stock type of thing, right?
exactly. So my first two big mistakes, which I now know were mistakes from doing your program was all my eggs in one basket and just listening to hype, like
Right.
no research, making my own decisions.
And
So now fast forward to now during like this whole pandemic thing, everyone's running around with that wealth simple app, right?
mhm.
But I noticed like lots of people, they don't know what they're doing. But so to me, I was like, but I looked at the percentages. So I was getting excited about seeing people's like returns on percentages that were way higher than a bank. And I'm like, oh, I got to learn this. So then I was Googling how to use Wealth Simple. And then I came across different channels. And then yours popped up where you're reviewing Wealth Simple, Quest Trade. And I was like, I like this kid. I was like, then go. And then I was like, oh, wait a minute. He's from Vancouver. Okay, I'm all in because I want to like stick to one source of information to learn, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Well, that's actually a really good point you said there, like sticking to one source of information because there are so many like options out there to learn, and some
yeah,
of the information kind of crosses over, some of it's completely opposite, and a an investor can really find themselves confused if they are just taking, one person said this, one person said this, versus saying like, hey, let's find someone that I jive with, someone that I trust, and learn from them. And that's basically what you're saying. You kind of fell with us.
that's right.
And I think I was looking back at the stats. So you joined our academy. You became a student of ours, like basically January of this year, I think it was. So
That's right.
2021, probably like right in the height of the pandemic, it was.
That's right. Right when I started in investing, pretty much.
Well, good for you. And you just thought it was the right time to learn. Like you said, you had the sour experience before,
Yeah.
but
And
yeah, well, you just decided to do it kind of the right way.
I knew I needed a course because I had all these books. And I was like, kind of hard to understand a book. Like, you don't know what book to get. And then
Mhm.
sometimes with investing, you people make the mistake. Well, not the mistake, but you got to realize like you're starting on level 1, so you can't compare yourself to people who are already on level 10. So
Right.
I I broke a lot of myths because I used to think that like investing is only for rich people. And then I was like, wait, you can just start with $25. And then so I got so yeah, and then when I found you guys, took the course, I was just looking for a course. I was like, sweet. Oh, awesome. This course is I learn how to do this. And then I was like, wait, you guys have a whole community that comes with the course where you can constantly ask questions and you always have access to the people at Invest in the Academy with questions. So like I didn't even know that was a part of it.
A
So that's
bonus
just been
feature. Yeah. Well, that's
just
like,
added value
yeah.
constantly.
Yeah, well, no, thanks. But like as you know, and as I said at the top, you're a very active student, which is how I think most students should be taking it. Because it's one thing to watch videos and learn on your own, but
Right.
in my opinion, like the actual learning comes from, taking that info and then, you know, doing stuff on your own and asking questions, figuring things out. And you kind of need that sounding board sometimes. And again, you've been one of our favorite students to work with. You're just so grateful and so inspiring. That's one thing I find out
Oh,
you is
thanks,
you
man.
always leaving the inspiring quotes, the inspiring things like food for thoughts. And it's it's
Well,
yeah, that's a very important, I'd say.
I didn't, well, yeah, and I didn't realize, I thought your course was just going to be about analytics and metrics, which is important. I need to learn that. But then you guys, like you talk about in the training course about like the philosophy of like being disciplined and just adding and not like, you know, knowing what you own so that you don't make an emotional decision of, oh, I'm selling this off and stuff like that. I didn't know that investing also had so much room to have philosophy involved as well, like a philosophical approach. Plus, because most in all things in life, including investing, you need those two things, right?
That's something we very much focus on as you picked up. It's like the mental side of investing, right?
Right.
How that all plays into part. Well, why don't you tell, you know, for a brief moment, Daniel, like what is your background? You said you moved here to Vancouver from the
Moved
oil.
here from Vancouver. Yeah. Okay, so I was working on drilling rigs.
Okay, in Alberta.
In Alberta, kind of living here, but with that kind of job, you're not really at home long enough. It's like you work for 2 months and then you're gone. And then you're home for like 10 days and then back.
Yeah.
But I mean, those kind of jobs like that, like they pay really well, which was the only way I could actually afford to live in Vancouver as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and then I was always waiting for an exit plan because I knew that industry, the jobs are like dwindling away in the oil field. And then there's a thing out there, like they make so much money out there, but
they don't know how
people don't invest it properly.
Yeah.
So there's like a saying where it's like the richest poor people you ever meet is like people who work on drilling rigs.
Right. That's so fair. Yeah.
Because they buy like all these liabilities.
Yeah.
They just buy all these
trucks,
fancy toys and stuff
and everything. Yeah.
Maybe they save it, but saving doesn't do anything. It's crazy. Because I'm kind of getting away from the story. But anyways, that's my background.
That's okay. Yeah.
Working on the drilling rigs. I've always loved acting, but I was from a really small city in Alberta, so you don't have that industry there. I grew up doing martial arts. So another thing, here, if you grow up in Vancouver and you have like martial arts and like acting, like it's a no-brainer. You find an agent and like do stunt doubling and all that. So now I'm in Vancouver. I found a good paying job with a construction company that pays me like a similar wage of what I was making before, you know, kind of thing. But saving is just not working. I was like, so what is, it's because you got to invest. So now I understand that. Like you can't just put money in a savings account, because I find if you're just saving, all you're really doing is just saving that money for the next emergency and then it's gone.
Right. Yeah. I
understand you need to save like for that emergency, but if you're not investing a certain portion, which by the way, all this, what I'm spewing off now, I wouldn't have known 4 months ago, but since taking the course. So now I'm a permanent resident in Vancouver, and my new passion that you've gotten me addicted to is like investing and like,
wow.
But with the long-term strategy though, you know, not like,
for sure. There's room for, like, once you kind of learn the fundamentals and you get yourself, like you said, you kind of opened up a new doorway, a new way of thinking about money and investing. Once you get those principles down, then you can kind of explore into your peripheral areas. But I think that's the major thing, is for a lot of people, like going from that block where it's like, you know, I've never invested. I don't know how to invest. It's not for me. And then realizing, wow, there's so much more I can be doing with my money. Like you said, rather than just saving it to blow it down the road.
Yeah.
And I think that's, you know, from your progression, Daniel, like I know you spoke with Joe. I think he onboarded you back earlier in the year, and he was explaining to us your story about how, you know, and I knew back in the time you were in the acting, or that was something that you did. I knew you like mixed martial arts, and, you know, going from someone who basically didn't know anything, like, you know, you truly even said it yourself. You're like, you went from zero to going to where you are now. I've seen such a progression, and, you know, I'm honored that you now say that this is a field that you have interest in. And even off camera, like you're spending the rest of this Saturday just going through some reading and doing some more research. And that's I couldn't be more proud of that. So good for you for that.
I set space aside to do that.
Yeah.
So that's why I can actually, that's why I can kind of do the approach where I pick individual stocks and actually can learn about the companies, because I set myself time.
Block the time aside to do that. And that may lead me to a good question. So after going through the program and, you know, learning what you have about the stock market, what type of strategy did you ultimately end up landing on? So you said individual stocks, index funds. Yeah. What do you like doing now?
So I do the core satellite approach, which I didn't even know that's what it was called.
Yeah.
But I was like, before I took the course, I was like, hey, what if I have ETFs and like, or whatever your core portfolio is? Doesn't even have to be ETFs, but my core portfolio, these are my long-term holdings. And then over here, I have my different stocks where I, still pay attention to asset allocation, but it's a little different. So yeah, and I also have at the same time, I also got lucky because my company introduced an RSP matching program.
Oh, perfect. Yep.
And so, but I already knew what I was doing. So then I was like, okay, well, there's no point to have all these, like, to have so much concentration in the same investments.
Right. Smart.
So I got rid of some, because if I already have the S&P index and the,
exactly,
Canadian and stuff in my personal account, I don't need that anymore because my work gives it to me.
Yeah.
So those are my core, like my core holdings are like in my RSP, and they have a matching program.
Beautiful.
And then I don't pay myself first because I do pay myself first, but I invest first, because paying yourself first, I never got like, oh yeah, I paid myself first, and it's just money I'm gonna spend later and get nothing out of it. Like, so I do pay myself first.
Yeah.
So I do both, but yeah, I do the core satellite approach. So I have my RSP is more my core holdings that, like, I just kind of set it and forget it and keep adding. And then my stock portfolio, I still want to keep them long term, but those ones I take time to study those companies. I only have 15 because it's all I can handle, honestly.
Beautiful.
Like to keep.
Yep.
And that's a good starting point.
It is. And like the things you're saying there, Daniel, I'm picking up, like, you've really picked up well from the training, it's like, not taking on more than you can chew. 15 stocks, like I said, for your situation may be perfect, versus some investors, maybe they don't want to do stocks at all. They want to do all ETFs. Like,
right.
It's finding what works for you. And it sounds to me like you took advantage of what your employer was offering. You had the knowledge and the comfort and, comfortability to make that decision on your own as a DIY investor. You kind of portioned out, your money, your assets with the workplace. You got your kind of more fun stocks. Like, would you say you've got a pretty comfortable strategy right now of how things are going?
Yes, absolutely. And then speaking of to touch on what you just said about being a DIY investor though, like I'm not really that, because I have the academy, like, in my opinion, like I have a team, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not really, to me, do it yourself would be like doing it yourself. Like, I figure you're going to make a lot of mistakes. Like, you can't. So I'm really so proud to be a part of the academy. I always make sure I bring that up when people are like, ask me about stocks. I'm like, I'm a part of I'm a DIY investor, but I'm a part of an investing academy.
I love that. So you're doing it yourself, but you're definitely not on your own. You have your support, you have your backup. Well, I love that, Daniel. And yeah, this is I'm so happy to hear that. And I don't know how much time you want to go on and chat for today, but I really do appreciate that. Like, that's I never thought of it that way. That everybody in our academy is on their own in a sense, but they really aren't. And
yeah.
You were even, I know you tune into our like live presentations, which you had the past months.
Great.
You're in the Discord every day. Like, that's, I think everybody that wants to, let's say, if there's someone watching this who wants to be a part of the academy, is like, learn from Daniel, because, you're taking the information yourself, but you will always have feedback. You will always have support with whatever you need. Right.
I'm 30% through the mastery course.
Beautiful.
But what's taking me so long is you guys keep putting up so much content, and then it's part of my blocked chain of investing time.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, that's one of those good problems, right? And I like to take notes and stuff. And I'm looking forward to, like, once I'm done with the mastery course, I'm going to go back again, go through the beginners course, get more notes that I missed. And I want to do them twice, because it's kind of like watching an action movie. It's like, you feel there's too much going on and you're going to miss everything.
Right.
But I'm still drawing away the information that's still relative, like, to me at this time.
That makes total sense
So
to me. Yeah, that's actually quite a common thing, is to go back, because, even not even that maybe you missed something, but now when you go back, you're going to have a higher level of knowledge.
that's
And now
right.
when you go listen to the same thing, you may interpret it in a different way, which is just one of the many benefits of, going back and taking your notes and doing things that way. Well, that's amazing. So I guess overall, you'd say that you're pretty happy with your, you know, I guess not just experience. I was going to say experience with investing. Like, you went from not investing at all or having that bad experience
That's
to
right.
doing, like, it sounds to me like you've got a very solid plan, and you seem very confident and at least on, on a direction, which is really, I think, what needs to be done. You need to have that direction. I see that, but from where you're speaking, is that fair to say? Like, you're feeling pretty comfortable with what's going on?
Yeah, absolutely.
Wow. Nice. Well, then I
But
guess,
why? Because of
yeah.
well, because of you guys, And for you to add your dad though, that's cool too. Because
Yeah.
I was like, I gravitated towards you because it's like, oh, here's this young guy. He's like on the path of doing the thing. He's doing the thing I want to do. And then
Mhm.
you add your dad, and it's like, oh, here's this guy who's already done it. He's
Yeah.
already done the thing, like, of what we're trying to do. So
Both dynamics. You can kind of see a start and finish. That's actually such a fun way of looking at it. And yeah, some people I think will definitely resonate more with my dad, because maybe they're older and we have a lot of older
right.
students. A lot of the younger students may resonate more with me. But like you're saying, you can actually see both, both sides, and say, hey, this is where you are, this is where you get to if you do things properly. So
What's also been an ironic coincidence is like when I first started with Wealth Simple, they didn't have as many features as they do now. They keep
yeah.
adding.
Yeah.
But then the Investing Academy keeps adding services too, like the online like training things and stuff like that. So it's crazy. It's just like a double whammy. Like,
Yeah. Well, more like that's, our we appreciate each and every student that's in our program. And, we're not we're not a cheap program. There, you can buy courses for
yeah,
$100 or whatnot, but we're trying to give students that value. And that doesn't just stop after, the course. Like you said, we're
yeah.
constantly rolling things out, and we're doing what we can to peripherally just give you guys as much as you need. And yeah, it's
But it's
all,
so true what you say in one of your disclaimers. I don't know where it is, but you're like with what you what you pay for the course, you can literally make back like with one nugget of information that you
and that's what,
apply, right?
what people like. I don't think some people's some people's brains don't think like that. They see a price tag
Right,
and they say, "Oh, that's a cost." Like, they don't look at it as an investment. And
right.
to me, the knowledge is worth. You can't really put a dollar price on the knowledge, because that's something you take with you and you can pass along to your family and everybody going forward. But yeah,
Yeah.
all it takes is one little nugget of information, or one good, one mistake averted, or one great investment that easily makes back your money, and you're on the path of getting that snowball rolling. And with time, with compound interest, like, you already know, you've gone through the numbers of what's
I've
possible over the years.
I've not I've done the numbers just to not even with compounding interest aside. I've just done the numbers of if you save this amount
Mm-hmm.
per month
Mm-hmm.
times 10 years, and that's before compounding interest. That's
Jeez.
uh,
Yeah.
I-
And it's
those
so,
numbers excite me.
they do, they excite you, especially when you don't really know. And I think that's like one of the biggest things, is if you're new to investing and you don't understand, like, you don't realize what's out there and what's possible,
Yeah.
just by looking at those numbers and looking at those, projections, that can be enough to motivate someone to say, dang, I really should be doing this, right?
And because like when I was in my 80s too, like a mutual fund was never explained. I
Yeah.
thought it was just a stupid fancy word for money you save that you get when you're old. And I'm like,
Yeah.
well, I have a freaking savings account. Why do I need to,
Yeah.
So, but when I was doing mutual funds, or tried to when I was like 18 or whatever, but this is like a long time ago before like Facebook, and I think caller ID was just coming out.
Jeez. That's,
I'm
that's probably
I'm
before my time, but yeah.
I'm 40, that's why. But
Yeah.
like back then, it was like nothing was explained to you. You go see a guy at Manulife and pops out a briefcase and it's like, well, if you just give me this much money, I'm going to take this much money, but you'll get this much money. And it's like, but that's all. It's like, what? What are
Yeah.
you doing with the money? And it's like, it's not explained to you. Like, okay, well, it's going here. This is how a stock works. So
For
Because
sure.
that's why if people don't have like their original knowledge, of course they're going to be turned off from investing, and they're going to believe like all the myths that I did before. Like investing is just for rich people.
Mhm,
You can't do it unless you're willing to lose mega amounts of money.
mhm.
And
So far
you
from true,
can't
right?
start unless you are wealthy yourself. But I realized, man, that's such a wrong mentality. That's like saying, I want to go to the gym and get in shape,
Mhm.
but I'm gonna wait till I'm a little bit more in shape
That,
before
that,
I go to the gym. Like, no, that's what the gym's for. Like,
that's
you
yeah.
start investing to become wealthy. You don't wait till you are wealthy and then invest. Like,
That's so true. And that's funny. I was just preparing for another video, and I was just in my notes, like drawing a very similar analogy. There's a lot of analogies that I draw to, like, you're obviously very, very fit and very, very in tune with your body. And it's like, there are a lot of analogies that you draw with,
right.
like building up your physique and whatnot and being healthy and doing the right things, as well as investing. And that's a perfect example of like, people love to just wait to invest. I remember when I was younger, like I always thought, oh, I need to have at least $10,000 before it's even worth doing it. Or, start with a bigger amount of money, or when I get a better paying job, I'll do it. But like you said, you can get started with Wealth Simple for $25 a month, whatever it is, right?
Right.
There is no barrier anymore. And it's more or less about, again, to kind of tie it to your fitness analogy, like you need to get in the habit of eating healthy and getting your protein in, and cutting out the
Yeah,
junk and food. And that's something that if you just push it back, you're never going to get around to, right?
that's right.
So
And then you got to also be used to like delayed gratification. Like, I'm not going to go have a drink with the boys tonight this weekend because you know what, I got to do some studying, and I also want this chunk of change to get a TELUS share,
yeah,
so
yeah, yeah,
everything, that
exactly.
kind of stuff. Oh yeah, so that's another
Yeah.
reason why I obviously wanted to join, was because it's Canadian content.
Mhm.
Like I didn't know what books to buy, and then like before I found your channel, and it's like, but it's like I don't need to know how American retirement savings plans,
Yeah.
and I also don't really care about, well, this is kind of the wrong thing to say, because but like someone who's already at level 10, I don't right now comparing myself to them
Yeah.
when I'm starting with $25 is not like helping me.
For
But I
sure.
can go back to this book later, like
Hmm. Hmm.
once I'm at the same like poker table. I'm not saying all books are like that, but
Yeah. No, there is a lot of, from what I found, like there's a lot of training out there and a lot of education sources that they just assume your knowledge is like at X amount. You know what I mean? It's just, hey,
yeah,
let's assume everyone knows what they're talking about. But for most people, unless you've gone out of your way to study and learn this, you are starting from level 0 or the ground floor, right? So that's true. And yeah, you mentioned their Canadian content. So that's another thing. You like the fact that we're Canadian focused.
yeah, because it's
It's
where I
related.
live,
It's
right? It's what's
relatable.
relative to me, the
Hmm.
headroom in our TFSAs and all
Yeah.
that kind of stuff.
Yeah. And like most of the stuff online is actually US based. So I know that's one of the feedbacks we get from our academy is that they like being around Canadians. It's our backyard, right?
I think as you get more popular and known, though, you should get someone else to field your comments, because I know some people get gross. Like the more like well known you get like such negative. I don't read them. I don't read comments, but
Yeah.
I'm assuming you get
Haters.
like
Yeah.
some really negative like comments that are like also not even really associated with the topic you're talking about.
Haters,
I
man.
think you shouldn't read those, but I know that you probably have to gauge what
Yeah,
direction to
it happens.
take your business in, right?
It happens. And I got a decently tough skin. It doesn't hurt my feelings all too much. I know some people could be quite sensitive about that, but at the end of the day, yeah, like as the channel has gotten bigger, we very, very rarely get, feedback on our academy other than, positive stuff from our
Yeah,
students. But it's typically on the YouTube channel where if there's someone doesn't agree with my thoughts, like you do get the bad comments, the haters, but you kind of just glance over it. I've grown to just, you know, and for every one hate comment, you got 75 or 100 positive ones, right? So
right.
it's easy to like get sucked into that. And I even remember one time, like, this is for those watching, like this is how I know Daniel's a student that cares. He's just telling me, fight through it, like don't get caught up on those things, because he actually cares for my well-being. And that's like, again, I just say the gratitude that I have for you as a student, that's completely unrelated to anything we do in the Investing Academy, but you're just, you're looking out for me and just making sure I'm in a level frame of mind. So I told you then thanks, but I'll tell you thanks again for that. It happens. It comes with the, I guess, the size, and yeah, it doesn't bother me all too much. But hey,
that's good, because some people it does.
Some people it could really get hung up on, and I think that's I think at the end of the day, we're doing more good than bad. So as long as we're impacting people in the right ways, I'm proud of that.
And we covered everything. The only note that I missed was more about what the Investing Academy is about to me, which I've come to learn.
Sure.
It's about investing, and then when you join the academy, it's about investing in knowledge first, and then building that wealth is just a natural side effect. I like how that you guys don't do that too. You don't talk about this is the hot stock. It's not like shock jock. You got to get in on this now. Don't miss out. Get this. This is why I'm buying this stock. It's no, it's a balanced approach. You're why I'm buying this stock is because A, B, and C all line up. So I'm going to add some more shares now. It's not
it's not preying on people. A lot of the, the promotion people do out there is it preys off the greed factor. It's hey, let's make all this money and whatnot. But no, we actually do, like you said, we kind of take the opposite approach of that, because as you know, that typically leads, when you're getting into the hype and the FOMO type of deals, they don't always pan out. So,
and it's teaching a new language, financial language, which I'm so thankful for.
Yeah. That's
because I'm 40, but the way I'm able to invest, especially because I'm fortunate to have a cheat code, work that has a matching RSP program. It's I'm still doubling up the time. What I'm able to actually put away is actually as if I'm starting when I'm 30, just based on how, because I'm able to do it aggressively, which I'm fortunate for. And my job was not affected by the current events. Yeah. The pandemic,
Look, that's awesome. That's good to hear. But yeah, you're making the conscious choice to aggressively save and put money away. And that's on you, right? Like you said, that's a decision that you made for yourself. So it goes to show the importance that you put on this. And yeah, I'm happy that I'm able to play my part in this, but at the end of the day, I'd say it's all you. You're the one.
You guys are my main dojo. I might cross train in other places out there, but Investing Academy is my main dojo, man. Investing Academy is where I'm gonna get my black belt.
I like that. Well, hey, you're working your way up. You got to finish the master's program before you get your black belt. But thanks, Daniel. We've been talking for 20 so minutes here, so I don't think I want to take you any longer than this. I really do appreciate, hey, this is a Saturday. You could be doing a million other things, but you take the time to speak with me and share your experiences. That means the world to me. So I just want to say thank you for that. And for anybody watching, for any of the students that are watching, now you know a little bit more about Daniel. And your handle in the Discord, is it your last name, or it's a twist on your last name?
That's actually my last name, yeah.
Okay, yeah. I always struggle when I read it.
Weird last name.
Struggle to say it, yeah.
Ramoliwa. When I used to play hockey, that was awesome too. Trying to hear on the announce. Number 15, Daniel Ramoliwa.
Yeah, I'm sure it was. Well, hey, thank you so much for the time, Daniel. Yeah, I'll let you go unless you have any final words, but we can probably wrap this up. And yeah.
No, I do not, man. We covered everything. So
yeah.
Cool. And congrats on the growth, man. I see that you guys are growing constantly adding resources for the students. It's awesome.
Thank you. Well, no, we'll keep doing that. We're just getting started here. So more and more to come, but yeah, we'll sign off for now. Appreciate the time, Daniel. And
all right.
We'll talk to you later.
You have a good day, man.
See ya.